Welcome to another issue of the Stoneman Diaries. So this channeling is theme-based, and it's all about the issues of fear. And I have a number of questions, 7 questions for Stoneman about fear. And the first is, what is triggered when we go into fear? What triggered is an old wound, always. It's an old wound. Something about loss, something about redemption or not being able to be redeemed, or something about chaos, lack of holding your ground. It's really about getting ungrounded, lack of holding your ground. The teaching transmission for this channel is that when fear arises, recognize an old wound is being triggered. Okay, so the second question I have is, why is fear so destructive? Because it tears you away from your truer knowings. It tears you from the underpinning of your embodiment of being connected to earth and sun, and it puts you out of your body even many times, so that you're not embodied, you're dissociating, you're in your outer fields that don't have any grounding, and they're not connected to your soul or higher self either. They're simply an energy of that's shaking you. The applied transmission for this channel is that fear tells you that you are avoiding your underlying instability. You need to shore that up. So then, what are the reasons for going into fear? Which is a little different than triggered. The reasons are multifaceted, but almost always it's because you're avoiding what's underneath it. You're avoiding the fundamental flaw in your stability. And that's the thing, if you carry fear, you need to find that, shore it up, make it strong. The teaching transmission for this channel is that fear tears you away from your truer knowings. So you say that fear blinds us to what is really going on. Please explain more. Well, it keeps you from having to investigate the causes of your intrepidation, your lack of trust in being reincarnated. And so it is a escape valve. It's a distraction. The teaching transmission for this channel is that fear is a distraction. The energy of fear is very loud. Intuition tends to soften. Does fear rule over intuition? Always, always. You can't hear, you can't see, you can't feel, you can't know in your intuitive abilities, because the energy of fear is very loud, and intuition tends to be softer and more of a quiet moment with yourself where you feel the truth of something. And fear is an agitation, and the agitation distracts you from being able to tune into your soul and your higher self. It also gets you out of heart coherence and puts you in your head. And when you're in your head, you're not grounded also, and it all further adds up to being a way of dissociating from the truth. The applied transmission for this channel is to ground yourself, come back into the body, back to connecting to the earth and the sun. And so my next question is, can you give us 3 practices to stop fear? And let's start with the first practice. The first practice is to tone Om. Always. Toning Om will always bring you into your heart coherence. And to tone Om. Well, that was very grounding, very settling. How long to do that? 2 minutes, whenever you can think of it. So what is another number 2 practice to stop fear? To find the sound you need. Ask to hear the sound you need to mitigate fear. I ask to hear the sound I need to mitigate fear. And when you hear it inside, you entrain to it, you merge with it. And you can go onto an app store and get the Pano tuner and sound out the sound of it, and you'll get the hertz, in which case you could HC, in which case then you could go to YouTube to get the exact sound. What's interesting to me for all of the exercises I've done today around fear is that it's in my heart chakra. And what do you make of that? And then we'll come back to the third practice to stop fear. It's in your heart chakra because you are clinging to fear of loss. And you hold fear of loss in your heart because it's fear of loss of those you love. And it's a clinging to fear of loss that has been trapping you from opening your heart into fuller vibration and also providing you with heart disease. Okay. The resonant transmission for this channel is to tone Om for 2 minutes to bring your heart into coherence. The applied transmission for this channel is to ask aloud, I ask to hear the sound I need to neutralize fear. And the follow-up resonant transmission for this channel is when you hear it within, the sound that will neutralize fear within, merge with that sound and entrain to it. And don't miss this step. This is the pearl. And can you give me the third practice to stop fear? So we have Om, we have hearing the sound, and what would the third be? You ask to stop fear by asking the sound of the spheres to neutralize it. And the sound of the spheres is the sound in the universe that is between the planets. So I ask the sound of the spheres to neutralize fear that I'm holding. And it's almost like a fire in front of my heart chakra as it works to neutralize it. And I've talked about this particular method elsewhere in the Stoneman Diaries. Do you have a fourth? Any one of these three will work at different times. So if you're in the subway system, for example, you may not want to be toning Om, but you could certainly ask the sound of the spheres to neutralize fear. Might be harder to hear the sound inside if you're on the subway, but you could ask to hear the sound of the spheres to neutralize it. Whereas if you're quietly in your living room, you can ask to hear the sound, or you could Om, that kind of thing. The resonant transmission for this channel is to call on the sound of the spheres to neutralize fear. The sound of Om puts me in heart coherence. To hear the sound I need to neutralize fear, I ask to hear the sound I need to neutralize fear. That's also, I'm feeling it in my heart chakra. Is fear always centered in the heart chakra? Even though the core of it could be in the first chakra, left of safety, security, all that kind of thing, the resolution of fear is in your heart. That's where you find it to mitigate it, is in your heart, because you hurt yourself when you're in fear. You block yourself from yourself when you're in fear. And the whole process is to return to your true self, your true nature. And fear keeps you from there, and the whole practice is to return to your true self and your true nature, so that then fear becomes you see it as being irrational. It's so irrational, fear. Just be in the moment. That's the thing about heart coherence. You want to be in the moment. Because in the moment, you probably don't have anything to be afraid of right now. And when you're in the moment, you're safe, you're secure. It's all about coherence in your heart, so you could be your true self. The applied transmission for this channel is to feel where fear sits in your heart chakra and breathe there until it softens. The overview transmission of this channel is to be in the present moment. In this moment, you are safe and secure. And so then let me ask you some questions about heart coherence, which we've talked about elsewhere also, but Om is a way to come into heart coherence. Could you give us another idea for coming into heart coherence? Well, the standard one is to feel the joy of something that puts a smile in your heart and stay with that resonance. And so that's why to hear the sound that will mitigate fear as you feel it in your heart chakra. And my point is that, or my point, but where I sense Stoneman's going is that in real heart coherence, and I truly am tuning into a feeling of joy, it is a sound and it is a vibration. And if I stay with that, I stay in coherence and I also am out of fear. Is that why hearing the sound? Sorry, it's very windy. I'm making sure there's nobody coming into my living room. The sound is what's needed, because then you entrain to the sound. It's the entrainment that is the key feature of this. And anything else to add? We want you to know that getting rid of fear is one of the most important things you can do in your life. Absolutely most important things, one of the most important things. Release fear, replace it with love. Release fear, replace it with love. Release fear, replace it with love. Thank you. To explore this transmission more deeply, you'll find a transmission worksheet linked in the show notes. If this channel resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe to help more people discover this work. And if you have a question for Stoneman, there's also a link below where you can send it in. I'd love to hear from you.